Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's video, we're going to talk about, are you a real prepper? Now, this question has been asked in the prepper or YouTube prepper community forever. My angle on this is something a little different. Now, one part of me is asking this question because I have war gamed so many different scenarios that could possibly happen. Fantasy and realistic shit. And I go through it and I'm like, man, would I be able to X, Y, and Z? Now, when I ask people, are they a real prepper? I don't mean in the sense of gears you have or the knowledge and the skills that you gather throughout the years of becoming a prepper. What I'm talking about are the hard calls you're going to have to make as a human. The hard calls, guys, as in, can you adapt to whatever cataclysmic or catastrophic event happens? Can you adapt to it? Now, a lot of people are going to say it depends on the situation, depends on the event. Yes, but if you are a prepper, you should be preparing for every last event to happen outside of a meteor smashing into the planet, right? That's like game over kind of shit. But could you adapt to different scenarios like the Yellowstone volcano going, right? Or societal collapse turning into zombies and shit, or people dying off in masses because they took that thing. Could you deal with that? Now, some of you will say, well, if all of those people passed away, this would be a lot quieter world. Yes, it would be. But still, could you deal with it? Could you implement your plan? Could you throw it into action if you had to? Some of us have done it already, and some of us have never done it at all. So you would know what your answer is going to be in regards to that if you implemented your plan, even if you partially implemented your plan. Could you make the tough calls? Could you watch people die? Could you watch children and men and women starve to death, knowing that you could possibly help them? Could you, in the face of danger, jump in the middle of a situation and try to save that woman or child because they were being attacked by marauders? And not werewolf preppers, marauders. That's what they fucking are. Could you jump in and help them? Now, if you're jumping in and helping, are you going to assess that situation? Are you going to calculate everything that needs to be calculated before you jump in? See, everything, guys, as a prepper is calculation. When you are preparing for, again, your family, you're calculating how much supplies and how much gear, how much food and water you need to make sure that you guys are comfortable through that event, whatever that event is. But now, when situations start arising, you have to calculate everything. You got to calculate, is it worth it to jump in the middle of that, those marauders raping the woman or beating up the kids or stealing the little girl to put her in the sex trafficking thing, whatever the fuck they call that, industry, sorry. And it's not an industry, but excuse me. So, guys, could you do that? Could, again, you watch a woman and a child or a whole family starve to death knowing you could feed them? But again, that goes back to calculation. If you calculated everything, could you afford to feed that family for the duration? Would it make any sense to feed them the one time? Or are you just going to let them starve? These are questions, guys, that you have to ask yourself, because we will be in a situation like that in the near future where that's going to come into play. Will you be able to pull that trigger? Will you be able to cut somebody down if you had to? Would you become the bad guy to steal from somebody else to make sure your family survives? Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, he should have been prepared. He should have been prepared, but shit happens. I live in this shit building. If there's a fire tomorrow, I lost half my preps, not all of them, half. Remember, I still have 2 storage units full of preps. But some people don't have that luxury to have 2 storage units. So if they lost everything in a house fire, then what? All right, so that guy becomes the bad guy now to make sure his family survives. We've watched this on The Walking Dead, the TV show, time and time again. We've watched them become the bad guys and them not realizing they were bad people until down the line. Now, because you're making sure your family survives, are you going to cut down another family so that your family survives? And in turn, you become the bad guy. Though in your eyes, you probably think you're good, but you are not a bad guy. But are you willing to entertain that? Will you kill others to survive? Will you kill others to take their supplies? That's the fucking question. I mean, listen, guys, that's a big question now, because even me, I'm like, well, will they fucking kill people and take their shit and leave kids orphans? Because I'm not killing kids, that's for fucking sure. But would I do that? Right? And so my answer is no. My answer right now is no, but it's easy for me to say no when everything is good. When I'm fed, when I have food in my stomach, and I'm fucking, energetic and ready to rock and roll. Your mindset switches when you're hungry, guys. Like that. People don't, if you never starved, do yourself a favor and give it a shot. Starve yourself. Go a couple days without eating and watch your mindset change. Now, my mindset has changed. I have starved before, and I went down that road, and it's still, at no point during my starvation was I like, yo, I'm gonna kill this dude to fucking eat. No, I was just like, I'm gonna starve to death. Because I know what it feels like. And there are chemical imbalances and all that other bullshit when you starve. So yes, people do change. And then they're not themselves. And when they do eat, they're like, shit, I shouldn't have did that. Sort of like sex with somebody you didn't want to have sex with. You're like, why the fuck did I do that? Sort of like that. But anyway, things get fucking hard, guys, when shit gets hard, and you have to be able to make the decision. You have to play chess, war game, the entire situation, whatever the fuck it is. You got to put yourself in every situation you could think of, even curveballs, even things that are not likely to happen. You should definitely put yourself in that situation and then think to yourself, can I do it? If you are not going to kill people to survive, if you're not going to steal this shit to survive, then you are an outstanding person, but you also got to know that it's going to be a hard fucking task. Now, can you execute a command to kill somebody or have somebody kill somebody? Like that scene in 1 Second After, the first book, where the character, I think his name is Madison, right? Matheson, where he executes a guy for stealing food because he was hungry. But he had to do it to teach the fucking town a lesson that if you guys steal food from our food bank, you're going to die. And in the book, that was the hardest decision for him. Can you execute something like that? Now, again, those of you who are like, I'll kill whoever threatens my family. Are you willing to deal with the outcome of killing somebody? That's the other part. There's a lot of traumatic stress that goes along with killing people. Cops deal with it. Military guys deal with it. People who are in that field deal with it, believe it or not. It's not the movies, right? You're not going to kill somebody in the next scene, you're giving high fives. It don't work that way. Especially if you had to kill, again, a child because they were threatening you with a weapon and you went down that road and fucking gave that kid the business. Now that kid's no more, but now you got to think of the psychological effects of that. So again, guys, the whole killing somebody, that's something that you definitely have to entertain because it's not something that you're just going to bounce back from. I can all but guarantee it. And those of you who do bounce back from it, well, then you got some bigger issues in your fucking head. But nonetheless, guys, you can rationalize your way out of that situation, but still, will you be able to commit to whatever needs to be done to make sure yourself and your family survives? Are you going to be that real prepper? Are you going to be that dude who's going to make the difference in the world or add to the bullshit of the world? Again, guys, being a prepper goes far beyond, especially now, goes far beyond gear, supplies, and knowledge. Can you react to the situation, and can you deal with it, and can you adapt? All right, guys, other than that, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.